All right, so today we're diving into the life of Anna Bissell, a true business pioneer, especially for someone in the Victorian era. If you're interested in women who smashed glass ceilings, you'll love this story. We're talking sawdust, sweepers, and a whole lot of hustle.
And a dash of ingenuity, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. So let's set the scene. 1876, Anna and her husband Melville are running a crockery shop in Michigan. Now, you'd think selling beautiful china would mean a spotless shop, but unpacking all those delicate pieces, sawdust. Everywhere.
It's funny you mentioned that. One biography actually quoted a family member saying Melville was forever at war with sawdust.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to maintain a pristine showroom in the middle of that.
Talk about a constant battle.
No wonder Melville, who is a bit of a tinkerer, started looking for a better way to clean it all up.
He was constantly experimenting with the carpet sweepers of the day, wasn't he?
He was, but they were clumsy and honestly not that effective.
And from that frustration, the Bissell carpet sweeper was born.
But this is where Anna's story takes that turn from shop owner to business titan. She sees the potential of her husband's invention way beyond their shop floor.
She had a knack for seeing the bigger picture.
She understood that this wasn't just a solution for their sawdust woes. It was a solution for every household battling dusty carpets.
And remember, this was a time when carpets were becoming more and more common. But keeping them clean, that was a backbreaking chore, usually falling to women.
So she saw a gap in the market, and she went for it.
She did. Forget selling a few sweepers here and there. Anna set her sights on something much bigger.
She really had that entrepreneurial spirit.
She convinces shopkeepers to stock the Bissell sweeper. And, crucially, she understands the importance of protecting their invention early on, securing those patents.
A smart move, especially with competition on the horizon.
Oh, absolutely. That foresight was key.
But here's what gets me. Not only was she this savvy businesswoman, but she's doing this in the late 19th century, a time when women were expected to be homemakers, not CEOs.
She was shattering those glass ceilings left and right.
So how did she do it? How did she build this business empire in such a restrictive time?
Well, from what I'm seeing here, she didn't just challenge those expectations. She blew past them.
She really did.
She became the company's secretary-treasurer, really diving headfirst into the world of finance and marketing. She had an incredible head for both, and we see that in her actions. For example, after a fire destroyed their factory in 1884, Anna was the one who secured the loans they needed to rebuild.
Wow, talk about a setback. That could have been the end for Bissell.
It very easily could have been, but she had this incredible resilience. And she didn't just rebuild, she expanded the business.
Most people would be ready to throw in the towel after something like that, but not Anna Bissell.
Not at all. And remember, she was doing all of this while raising 5 children.
I can't even imagine. That takes the idea of a working mom to a whole other level.
Absolutely, she was juggling a lot.
So let's talk about her marketing genius, because it's clear she understood how to connect with her target audience, which back then was pretty groundbreaking.
Oh, absolutely. She was ahead of her time in that sense.
And you mentioned these Christmas promotions earlier. Tell us more about those. That sounds fascinating.
Okay, so think about it. Today, holiday marketing campaigns are everywhere, right? But in the late 1800s, that was unheard of.
Really?
Yeah, she was really a pioneer in that sense. She positions the Bissell sweeper as the perfect Christmas gift, really tapping into that seasonality.
Smart. She's creating that emotional connection between the product and the consumer.
Exactly. One advertisement I came across from that time actually showed a family gathered around a Christmas tree, and right there with it, a brand new Bissell sweeper.
No way!
Yeah, it was about making life easier, more enjoyable.
And it clearly worked. Bissell became a household name, synonymous with
All right,
quality. So today we're
Exactly.
diving into the life of
But
Anna
she didn't
Bissell,
stop there.
a true business
Anna
pioneer,
understood the
especially
importance
for
of
someone in the
constantly
Victorian
improving,
era.
so she's always
If you're
refining
interested
the
in women
sweeper's
who
design,
smashed glass
making it even
ceilings,
better.
you'll
Always
love this
innovating.
story.
Always.
We're talking sawdust,
And she wasn't afraid of bold
sweepers,
moves
and
either.
a whole lot of
For
hustle.
example,
And a dash
she
of
brings on
ingenuity,
Claude
too, right?
Hopkins,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
young advertising
So, let's set the
copywriter
scene.
who later becomes a legend in the field.
1876,
Claude
Anna and her
Hopkins,
husband
the
Melville
father of
are
modern
running a
advertising.
crockery
Wow.
shop
That's
in
the one.
Michigan.
And together,
Now,
they
you'd
shifted
think selling
Bissell's
beautiful
advertising.
china would mean
They
a
focused on the
spotless shop,
practical benefits,
but unpacking all
how
those
the sweeper
delicate
saved
pieces,
time, effort,
sawdust.
even improved your health by
Everywhere.
reducing dust. It's funny you
I
mentioned
love
that.
that.
One
It's
biography
genius,
actually
really.
quoted
It really was.
a family member
But,
saying Melville was
beyond the brilliant
forever at war
marketing,
with
what I find
sawdust. Truly Imagine trying to maintain a pristine showroom in the middle of
What
that.
do you mean?
Talk about
She
a
wasn't just
constant
focused
battle.
on profits.
No wonder Melville,
Anna
who is a
cared
bit
about
of a
her
tinkerer,
employees.
started looking
And
for a
that's
better way to
evident
clean
in
it
her
all up.
decision
He was
to
constantly
implement
experimenting
things
with
like
the carpet
workers'
sweepers of the day,
compensation
wasn't
and
he?
pension
He
plans.
was.
Hold on,
but
she
they
did
were
what?
clumsy and
Those were
honestly
practically unheard
not
of
that
back then.
effective, especially in
And
that
from that
industry.
frustration,
That was a
the
radical
Bissell
move for the
carpet
time.
sweeper was
It
born.
really shows how different
But
she was
this
from
is
other
where
business
Anna's
leaders
story
of the
takes
time.
that turn
She understood
from
that a
shop
company
owner
was
to
only as
business
strong as its
titan.
workforce.
She sees the potential
But
of her
her
husband's
commitment to
invention
social good
way
didn't
beyond
stop
their
there
shop
either.
floor.
Oh, right.
She had a knack
We haven't
for
even
seeing
talked
the
about her
bigger
work
picture.
with women
She
and immigrants.
understood that
Right.
this
She
wasn't
was
just
heavily
a
involved with
solution
the
for their
Bissell House,
sawdust woes.
a settlement house
It
in
was a
Grand
solution
Rapids.
for every
It
household
provided
battling
resources,
dusty carpets.
training.
And remember, this
all
was a
sorts
time
of
when
things
carpets were
for
becoming
immigrant
more and
women
more common.
youth.
She
But
was
keeping
so
them
much more than
clean,
just a business.
that was a backbreaking chore, usually falling to
Anna
women.
really
So
believed
she
in
saw a
using
gap
her
in the market
success
and
to
she
lift
went for
others
it.
up. She
It's
did.
really inspiring
Forget
to
selling
see
a few
someone
sweepers
use
here and
their
there.
platform
Anna set her
to
sights on
create
something
that
much
kind of
bigger.
positive
She really
change.
had that
Absolutely.
entrepreneurial
And it wasn't just
spirit.
about writing a check
She convinces
either.
shopkeepers
one
to
news
stock
article
the
even
Bissell
quoted her
sweepers.
as saying,
And
to truly
crucially,
empower
she understands the
people, you must
importance
equip
of
them with the
protecting their
tools and
invention
knowledge
early
to
on,
shape their own
securing those
destinies.
patents.
Wow, she
A
really
smart move,
understood that
especially with
lasting
competition
change
on the
requires
horizon.
more than
Oh,
just a
absolutely.
handout.
That foresight
Exactly.
was key.
She was
But
all
here's what
about
gets
creating
me,
opportunity.
not only
And
was
that's
she
a
this
philosophy
savvy
that still
businesswoman,
resonates
but she's
today.
doing this in
It's
the
about
late
investing in
19th
people,
century,
not just
a
projects.
time when
Precisely.
women were expected to be
And this
homemakers, not
commitment to social
CEOs.
good
She was shattering
wasn't
those
some
glass
separate
ceilings
thing
left
for
and
Anna.
right.
It was
So
all
how did she
connected
do
to her
it?
business
How did
and
she
part of
build
her
this business
company's
empire
values.
in
It was
such a
about running a
restrictive
business
time?
that wasn't just successful,
Well, from what I'm
but
seeing
also
here, she
ethical
didn't
and
just
socially
challenge
responsible.
those
Right, and I think
expectations.
that approach played
She
a
blew
huge
past
role
them in
She
Bissell's
really did.
enduring
She
success. She became the
Speaking
company's
of which,
secretary
it's pretty
treasurer,
amazing to think that the
really
company she
diving
built
headfirst
back
into
in
the
the
world
late
of finance
1800s
and
is
marketing.
still going
She
strong
had an
today.
incredible head
It
for
really
both,
is.
What
and
do you
we
think
see
is
that
the
in her
key
actions.
to that kind
For
of
example,
longevity? How
after
did
a
Bissell
fire
adapt
destroyed their
over such a
factory in
long period?
1884,
Well, I think one crucial
Anna was the
factor
one who
was
secured
Anna's
the loans they
understanding
needed to
that
rebuild.
innovation never stops.
Wow,
It's
talk
not
about
a
a
one-time
setback.
thing.
That could have been
Take
the
the
end for
vacuum
Bissell.
cleaner.
It very
for
easily
instance.
could have been.
That was a
But
game
she had this
changer in the
incredible
early 20th
resilience.
century.
That must
And
have
she
seemed
didn't
like a
just
threat
rebuild,
to the
she
whole
expanded the
carpet
business.
sweeper market.
Most people
You'd
would be
think so,
ready to
right.
throw in the
But
towel
Anna,
after something
instead of
like that, but
resisting
not
that
Anna
new
Bissell.
technology,
Not at
she
all.
embraced it. And remember,
Really?
she was
She didn't
doing
see it as
all of this
competition?
while
Not at
raising
all.
5
She actually
children.
started
I
making
can't even
vacuum
imagine.
cleaners,
That takes
added
the
them right
idea
to the
of
Bissell
a
product
working
line.
mom to a whole
It was a
other level.
strategic
Absolutely,
move,
she was
ensuring
juggling a
they
lot.
stayed
So
relevant
let's
in a
talk about her
changing
marketing
market.
genius.
So she
because
saw
it's
the
clear she
writing on the
understood how to
wall
connect with
and
her target
adapted,
audience, which
even though it
back
meant
then was
disrupting
pretty
her own
groundbreaking.
Oh, absolutely.
success,
She was
her
ahead
own
of her time
business
in that
model.
sense.
Exactly.
And you mentioned
that's
these
such a
Christmas
vital lesson
promotions
for any
earlier.
business,
Tell us
to be
more
willing
about
to
those. That
evolve
sounds fascinating.
even when it's uncomfortable.
Okay, so think
It's
about
about
it.
having that
Today,
flexibility, that
holiday
foresight.
marketing campaigns
Right, and that
are
takes a
everywhere,
certain kind
right?
of leadership.
But in the
the
late
kind that Anna
1800s,
clearly
that was
possessed.
unheard
It definitely does.
Really?
Yeah, she was really
So
a
as
pioneer
we
in
wrap
that
up our
sense.
deep dive into
She
Anna
positions
Bissell's
the Bissell
incredible
sweeper
life,
as
what's
the perfect
one
Christmas
thing you
gift,
really
really
want our
tapping into
listeners
that
to remember
seasonality.
about her?
Smart. She's
For
creating that
me,
emotional
it's that
connection
Anna's story
between the
reminds
product
us
and
that
the
we
consumer.
all have the power
Exactly.
to make a difference.
One
Here was
advertisement
this
I came
woman
across from that
facing
time
all these
actually
obstacles,
showed a family
yet she
gathered
built
around
an
a Christmas
empire.
tree. She fought
And
for
right
her
there with
workers.
it. And she dedicated
A
herself
brand
to
new
making the
Bissell
world a better
sweeper.
place.
No
It's an
way.
inspiring
It was
story,
about
to
making
say the
life
least.
easier.
It really is. It's a
more
testament to the
enjoyable.
power
And
of
it clearly
resilience,
worked. Bissell became a
vision,
household
and
name,
a commitment to
synonymous
something
with
bigger than
quality.
yourself.
She
Exactly.
truly left an incredible
But she
legacy.
didn't stop there.
And that's what makes Anna,
Anna
Bissell
understood
a
the
true
importance
icon,
of
not just
constantly
in the business
improving,
world,
so
but
she's
for
always
anyone
refining
striving
the
to make a
sweeper's
positive
design,
impact.
making it even better.
Always innovating.
Always. And she wasn't afraid of bold moves either. For example, she brings on Claude Hopkins, this young advertising copywriter who later becomes a legend in the field.
Claude Hopkins, the father of modern advertising. Wow.
That's the one. And together, they shifted Bissell's advertising. They focused on the practical benefits, how the sweeper saved time, effort, even improved your health by reducing dust.
I love that. It's genius, really.
It really was. But beyond the brilliant marketing, what I find find truly remarkable is how she ran her business.
What do you mean?
She wasn't just focused on profits. Anna cared about her employees. And that's evident in her decision to implement things like workers' compensation and pension plans.
Hold on, she did what? Those were practically unheard of back then, especially in that industry.
Right. That was a radical move for the time.
It really shows how different she was from other business leaders of the time.
She understood that a company was only as strong as its workforce. But her commitment to social good didn't stop there either.
Oh, right. We haven't even talked about her work with women and immigrants.
Right. She was heavily involved with the Bissell House, a settlement house in Grand Rapids. It provided resources, training, all sorts of things for immigrant women and youth.
She was so much more than just a businesswoman.
She was. Anna really believed in using her success to lift others up.
It's really inspiring to see someone use their platform to create that kind of positive change.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just about writing a check either. I mean, one news article even quoted her as saying, "To truly empower people, you must equip them with the tools and knowledge to shape their own destinies."
Wow, she really understood that lasting change requires more than just a handout.
Exactly. She was all about creating opportunity.
And that's a philosophy that still resonates today. It's about investing in people, not just projects.
Precisely. And this commitment to social good wasn't some separate thing for Anna. It was all connected to her business. It was part of her company's values.
It was about running a business that wasn't just successful, but also ethical and socially responsible.
Right. And I think that approach played a huge role in Bissell's enduring success.
Speaking of which, it's pretty amazing to think that the company she built back in the late 1800s is still going strong today.
It really is.
What do you think is the key to that kind of longevity? How did Bissell adapt over such a long period?
Well, I think one crucial factor was Anna's understanding that innovation never stops. It's not a one-time thing. Take the vacuum cleaner, for instance. That was a game changer in the early 20th century.
That must have seemed like a threat to the whole carpet sweeper market.
You'd think so, right? But Anna, instead of resisting that new technology, she embraced it.
Really? She didn't see it as competition?
Not at all. She actually started making vacuum cleaners,
Yeah.
added them right to the Bissell product line.
That's brilliant.
It was a strategic move, ensuring they stayed relevant in a changing market.
So she saw the writing on the wall and adapted, even though it meant disrupting her own success, her own business model.
Exactly. And that's such a vital lesson for any business, to be willing to evolve even when it's uncomfortable.
It's about having that flexibility, that foresight.
Right, and that takes a certain kind of leadership, the kind that Anna clearly possessed.
It definitely does. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Anna Bissell's incredible life, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to remember about her?
For me, it's that Anna's story reminds us that we all have the power to make a difference. Here was this woman facing all these obstacles, yet she built an empire, she fought for her workers, and she dedicated herself to making the world a better place.
It's an inspiring story, to say the least.
It really is. It's a testament to the power of resilience, vision, and a commitment to something bigger than yourself.
She truly left an incredible legacy. And that's what makes Anna Bissell a true icon, not just in the business world, but for anyone striving to make a positive impact.